welcome to the Meredith Show. I am thrilled today because you get to meet four-time best-selling author and international speaker, Dr. Teri Rouse. Dr. Teri, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Meredith. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
And it is your second time, we should say, on the Meredith Show, and you journey from afar. Tell us a little bit about where you came in from.
I came in from the great city of Philadelphia.
Woo, woo.
Go Phillies and go Eagles. It's been a great season so far.
Yes, and nothing like you coming from my old hometown, which is
Yes.
super special. And speaking of our hometowns, we all have an interesting story, which is what we love so much to talk about on this show. And you began with a lot of unexpected change, beginning with your marriage many, many years ago that wasn't really the best. And for you, we'd love to talk about moments for courage to shine. Walking away was one of the best decisions ever. Tell me a little bit about what precipitated that bold move.
That was probably one of the most courageous, bravest things I ever did in my life. I have a daughter, and the relationship with her father, we were married for many years, and unfortunately things did not work out. This is probably the first time I've actually said this into the world, but it was an abusive relationship. I was bullied. I was not physically abused, but I was emotionally, financially, psychologically abused. And I didn't want my daughter to think that that's the way marriage was supposed to be. And I knew that I had to get out of that. I mean, not only did he abuse me, but he was abusing my family. And that was, once I recognized that and I saw that he was not only abusing me, but our daughter indirectly, but also my family, I can't do this. This is so wrong. And my daughter deserves better than that.
Well, you not only found the courage to walk away, but what I love about your story, and it is certainly a moment to shine, is that you found love. And not only did you walk away and find love, but your new love, Dr. Fred, brought out a wonderful, amazing moment when you thought you weren't ready to become a doctor or move towards a doctorate degree. Tell me a little bit about that, because I think people at home will be really touched by this story.
Okay, I just got a chill down my spine. So for years I heard I wasn't smart enough, I couldn't do things, I was just not capable. And I remember I was standing in our kitchen, and somehow or other the topic of a doctorate came up, and I said, I'm not smart enough to do this. I'm not smart enough to go back to school and become a doctor. And my husband, who never ever gets angry with me, he just doesn't, he got angry, and I could see it in his face, and he looked at me and he said, "What, are you out of your blessed mind? Of course you're smart enough to do this. Why would you not think?" And I know exactly where I was in the kitchen. I was right in front of the sink, and he was across the island. And to this day, and this is years and years ago that he told me this, and he said, "You can and you will."
And you did.
And I did.
Dr. Teri
I
Rouse.
did.
I love that.
Yeah.
You have so many accolades, and you have so many beautiful, wonderful things that you are trained in. You are a behavior specialist. You also are a reading and I believe autism specialist. And you are a consultant and coach. Wow, what a 360 from not believing in yourself. You now inspire people every day. Talk about moments of courage to shine.
Sure. Just all of those things. I love to be able to stand in front of a parent and just remind them that they have it in themselves as well. You know, we were told, both Dr. Fred and I were told for years, that we were not good parents because, you know, Fred's son, my bonus son, which is hard for me to call him my bonus son, but I'm really working on that. We were told that we were incapable, we were terrible by friends and family and all this other stuff. And I love that when I can stand in front of a family and watch them implement the things that I learned through my experiences, through going to school.
Well, I'm going to stop you. For people at home who don't know your story,
Sure.
Your bonus son had a lot of
Yes.
challenges. Tell us about those.
So when Fred and I got married, I was a teacher, and I hadn't finished my special education certification. So I went back and I finished that while Matthew was living with us. And in that time, I also started to teach an emotional behavioral disorders class. So I was doing emotional support and behavioral support 24/7.
Wow. At home.
At home as well as in school.
So Matthew had ADHD and many other
Among
things.
them, yes.
And you felt for a long period of time until you discovered that there was a way to not necessarily cope, but live with less chaos.
Correct.
That you really became devoted to that in your entire career. Talk about inspirational.
Absolutely. And that was one of the main reasons that I went back to school for the doctorate once I realized I was smart enough to do that, was because I knew that there had to be something out there, something that I could do, or a bunch of things that I could do. And I implemented a lot of things at home. Unfortunately, Matthew was no longer living with us at that point, but with my daughter, I implemented some of those things, and I implemented things in the classroom, and then I found things that worked, and I just took the best of the best, and that's what I share with parents and families.
I was going to say, now the world is benefiting from those gifts, and what I love about your story is several things. Number one, so many people at home are suffering in a miserable marriage, and they're trying to find the courage to walk away. Talk about what it took for you to do that.
Boy, that was so hard. I think. I never tell a family or a wife or husband that the first line of defense is to walk away. I don't believe that. But when it gets to where you are, as my wise mother once said to me, when you're crying more than you're smiling, and you're fearful and you're sad, then it's time to walk away. And it doesn't matter whether it's a spouse, a boss, a child, an adult child that's causing you anxiety. Stepping away might be the only thing that can save both of you.
Speaking of being saved, not only did it save you and your daughter in many ways, but you found love again, and not just any love, an extraordinary love that inspires you to be a better person with Dr. Fred. And I love that it's Dr. Fred and Dr. Teri.
Yeah, we always call each other doctor.
I would too if I had that degree, I must say. It's super inspiring. And I love that many people think when they walk away from something, they can't see the vision of what's possible. But you are a stand for that. Not only is it possible to start over, not only is it possible to learn from heartache, to turn that into a mission to light other people up. And I know you're committed to help people find their courage every day. And sometimes it's little steps. You've developed a framework for that, and we really love to give people good nuggets at home. So you talk a lot about in life, I love this lesson to reemphasize, that we can be reactive when something happens or proactive. And you're a fan of being proactive. Please explain that.
So I talk about the idea of reacting and responding. And when you react, it's instinctual. You just do it. And there are times in life when that is the only correct answer. Example, your children are playing in the front yard, a ball rolls out into the street, and there's a bus coming down the road. And you reach, grab your kid, and throw them onto the front lawn. That's the time to react.
Yes,
please react then. But the other idea of that is responding, and that's when you stop and take a pause. And I know we've talked about taking the pause. It's even if you take a pause and just take a breath before you say or do something, because you don't want to do anything in anger.
Yes.
Because most of the time when you do something in anger, it comes back to bite you in not a good way. And we've all done that. I mean, I know I'm guilty of that.
Yes.
It just happens.
Guilty as well. So, we're confessing. And it always feels better when you find the strength to not only take a deep breath, but think before you speak,
Absolutely.
as you say. A really wonderful lesson in life. Speaking of lessons in life, you're committed not only to sharing with families across the world that they don't have to live in chaos and people hire you all the time to help to intervene and help turn it around, if you will. But you also have a passion for literacy. Let's talk a little bit about that, because you have a book club that I'm a huge fan of, and I'd love for people at home to know about it.
Sure. I have what I call the Snuggle Bunny Storytime and Snuggle Bunny Book Club. And Snuggle Bunny Storytime is a monthly activity. I read a book live on Facebook, and it is open to the world. But I also have something for people that want more, for families who want to make certain that they have quality and quiet time together. It's called the Snuggle Bunny Book Club, and it's a subscription, and new books drop into our private membership group so that you can see and hear the books anytime, anywhere. You can snuggle up with your children, and the only thing you have to do is be present with them, and that's it.
A beautiful mission, if you will. All that connection is so important, not only with children developing, but as a parent, to have those moments with your child is priceless. And the book club is just a piece of the literacy pie. You have Untamed Chaos coming out soon.
Correct.
Let's talk about that book.
So that is a book that I have taken several years to really sit down and vet through. It's called Untamed Chaos, A Parent's Guide to Improving Communication, Resolving Conflict, and Restoring Peace in Your Home. And it is a framework of tools and techniques that you can very easily implement into your home and actually adjust very specifically for your family, because as a parent, you're the expert for your family. I'm just the toolbox. And
I love that.
Yeah.
We all need those tools. Let's face it. Nobody is, unfortunately, there are so many courses out there, but parenting before you become a parent isn't a mandatory course anywhere, sadly. So it is so lovely to know there are people like yourself out there in the world. And I'd like to say before we leave, not only do you shine with courage with everything that you do, and I love your stand, not only for literacy, but for families to keep peace in the home and restore it whenever and wherever possible. But you have some amazing work you're doing with some celebrities, and I'd love to share, because I don't know if you know this, Dr. Teri, but Lisa Nichols, to me, is the greatest motivational speaker in the world, and that you're co-authoring a book with her?
Yes.
What? Tell me about that.
Yes, I am. So this has been the most amazing year, and not only do I have the opportunity to co-author a book. One of the reasons I do is because I was actually interviewed by her on her television show.
Amazing.
I know, it's so cool.
I love it.
And so we were invited. I was invited to co-author a book with her, and it is so exciting. It is all about igniting the courage and the commitment from within, finding your, I don't want to say your shine, because that's not, but it is truly finding yourself, finding your courage to do what you need to do, and recognizing what you have already done.
Yes.
And that's huge.
Thank you. Well, it is huge that you came back with us to share more, because you have accomplished so much in your life and in so many seasons. And it's such a joy to share it with viewers at home. For those of you who'd like to get in touch with Dr. Teri, her information is on the screen. And I am so thankful, Dr. Teri, that you could come in and be with us. You were a reminder to everybody at home that it takes courage to shine. And I know if you're watching out there, you know somebody out there doing something amazing. So don't keep it to yourself. Take a little time and share the love and the shine, and reach out to us. We'd love to share your story on the show. And if you're as inspired as we are with Dr. Teri's story, please share this with somebody you love. Thanks for watching, and thank you, Dr. Teri, for coming in.
Thanks, Meredith.
The Meredith Show is brought to you by La Ventana Treatment Programs, located just outside Los Angeles in Thousand Oaks, California. This episode was shot on location at the Interval House for Teen Residential Mental Health Treatment for Young Women. Be sure to follow The Meredith Show on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.